All right, we need 29 inches, right?
So now we've actually already put it in and taken it out, and yet it's a perfect fit. And now we're just gonna, this particular racket, they're wanting it 29 inches, so we're just gonna cut it down, see how that goes in there perfectly into the socket. And not all rackets are the same and designed with the same bevels and everything, but they're all made in China probably, and probably the same factory we figured out through the years. So now we're going to take it out, and then we're going to cut it down, and we're going to measure it, and we're going to make it a perfect, put a little epoxy in there. We're going to make it a perfect 29 inches, give or take 1 or 2 millimeters.
Okay, so we're at 35 and 5/8.
I might have to, where's your saw? Is it still here? Yeah, electric saw.
Yeah, I'll take it out in the garage. And boy, that doesn't leave us a lot, does it?
Yeah, to make it straight.
Because that's how much we have off the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost exactly the same, isn't it? That is 2 1/4, and that is, wow. It's going to be, I mean, that's where it would have to be cut, so it's going to be short in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, not much.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make it a little over 29, or
Yeah,
does it
you
have to be
can.
29?
Yeah, you can make it a little over.
If you want to go over, say,
we'd rather it like hold up than be too flimsy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'd go 2 inches, because
Yeah, you can do that.
if we don't,
It's gonna be a little bit, not much.
this fits in there. Oh, wait a second. So that is, well, maybe it'll be okay. This is 1 3/4 depth, so 1 3/4 from the end here. Oh, geez, it's almost right on. Actually,
Yeah,
it's going to be really close.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just cut it just maybe another 1/8 is all.
Okay.
Like right there.
Yeah.
All right. That's about right too. It's 29. All right, let me go saw it off. I don't play much tennis. I'm playing really good right now, but I just no time.
So here with Tom, and Tom does this with very modern tools, only the best. We've got some other converters that use hacksaws and various primitive ways of doing it, but they come out well. But I always like the way Tom's very efficient, kind of just gets it done. And unbelievable craftsman, one of the best stringers.
And a lot of pressure on me here.
No pressure. Only pressure's in the ball, Tom.
Little juice.
Ryobi. I don't even know what kind of tool that is, but I'm pretty sure it's not American. But it's okay. What company makes Ryobi? Tom?
I don't know. Home Depot makes it. How's that?
Home Depot makes Ryobi. went by a Hilti truck today. And I used to have a friend that worked for Hilti. Those Germans, they make the right tools.
Once it's done, it's done, you know?
Yeah, once it's done, it's done.
Just gonna go back in here. Yeah, sometimes when you ease off, this it's just a little bit fatter.
So now we're gonna do another little widening. Gotta just heat it up a little bit.
How the Battistones doing?
They're doing well. They won the national 40s and the USTA thing out in Vegas. Was trying to get me on the 40s team. We had talked about it at the 4th of July, but they never contacted me. But Dan and Brian played Billy Casas and Simon Shin, beat them 0-1. I would have liked to.
My God, that is a beatdown.
Yeah, it's men playing boys.
Yeah, those guys are great doubles players.
Yeah. Did Jamil go with them, or I didn't see?
I don't know. Jamil's been playing a lot of pickleball too.
Yeah. Imagine he's a fantastic pickleball player.
Pretty good.
He's got the hands and quickness. He's like. Now we're just running into a few little things. Sometimes this is how it is. That's why it's better if you kind of send it out and let the pros do it. We always recommend, sometimes we even guarantee them for up to a year, but you don't want to leave these rackets in a car, hot car, or anything like that. You want to take them in with you. We've had stuff come unglued, but it's usually in Texas where people leave them in cars. Which is kind of a pain because you don't always want to bring your tennis rackets in when you're going into Starbucks or whatever you're doing. So we always suggest that you let us do the labor, but we got a lot of people wanting to do it on their own, so we're wanting to empower you. And we'd like eventually to have people like Tom all about able to convert, and just the stringing industry is something that I think will always be there. Even though Tom and I've talked about at some point they'll have a way to string rackets in about 3 seconds, but they haven't done it yet, and it's still pretty archaic. But it would be another, if you're a stringer, a racket technician, someone that's weighting, injecting, molding, making rackets heavier, more solid, as they're all coming out pretty hollow these days to make them light, but some of the pros want a little bit more solid feel, more like the 80s. There's a lot of people around the world doing that type of thing, but this could be just another little tool or trade or form of business or form of service that they could provide. So he's heated it up and now he's stretching it out. Just even though it was a perfect fit as we had it in there before, sometimes when you cut it down, so these little bevels are a little wider, so now he's got to get it back in there. And we've measured it perfectly so that it's going to have enough stability in that two handle, because the two handle is going to add a little bit. You don't want to pull it out, right?
Yeah.
There we go. It's a two-man job here, and we're about to use I think it's an American company, JB Weld type epoxy. They've done well. I actually had a guy in Germany that was using some German epoxy. I'm sure in Italy and various places you can find, but typically over here we've used JB Weld.
Is the strongest stuff that I've come across.
Yeah, it's the strongest stuff, and sometimes are we still mixing it? You got to mix it, or
yeah,
you got to mix sort of I forget what it's called, but what is it called? Like there's two things that you have to mix to give it that really tight bond.
Yeah, hardener
and
the epoxy itself is
the epoxy.
They call it steel on this.
The steel, JB Weld. They might have some different brands or different ones, but we've had most of our success with that.
Yeah, this stuff is incredible.
Just don't want to get any on your teeth. Remind me to leave another handle with you in case this guy likes it. I guess we'll have to make another one.
Okay.
It's just the particular user of this racket is in England, a guy, William Baxdale, and he likes the outer limits, and so those are hard to come by now. The Wilson, I've got a lot of friends that like those. So
yeah, I think they discontinued them.
Yeah, so this is kind of the modern version of the outer limits, and even lighter. Tom's rackets at Vortex are made with space age light technology, so that it's almost like they're feather light. I wish you guys could feel one of these, but so you get that power, but yet super maneuverability. He's always had rackets that were that way, back with the Wonder Wands, and they're really forgiving for his market is the senior type players out here in California. At any court here in Orange County, you'll find almost anyone using a Vortex on almost every single court if you go to a tournament, a senior tournament. So this is great because we have two companies that kind of come together to form a great racket and tap into his technology, and then add the two handles, and even, in my opinion, more ergonomic and less stress because you got the vibration going down two handles as opposed to one, going into the shock. And then if you start using the other side of your body as well, hitting the occasional lefty, you get that even added benefit of good posture and the use of the other side of your brain. I have to bang it down in there a few times.
Yeah.
Maybe there.
Make sure. Looks pretty good.
As always, one of the best craftsmen you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna let that sit for how long? 24 hours
Yeah,
before.
24 hours.
That's the only thing. That's the only sad part is we can't just go out and start banging away with it. We got to let it sit for 24 hours in what we call cure. And Tom's going to clean it up here. See how I use the tape. It's just like when you paint a car and you don't want to get paint on bumpers and stuff like that. You got to tape it up. And There you have it, a conversion. Vortex double handle, 29 inches with a freestyle. All right.